Hello, people. This is Mac with the Mac commentary. Today, I have a guest on by the name of Mark Hill. Mark is the author of Secrets to Prosperity. It has come to our attention that 80% of pro athletes are broke after retirement. And also, my discussion with Mark has been that 90% of most people in America also are retired. After they retire, they living off a very uh, sparse type of retirement income. It's either Social Security or they are broke. And if they, many people can't retire at the designated age of, say, 62, 65, because they would not have enough money to retire. Now, today, Mark will discuss why people are in this predicament, why they don't have enough money to retire. What did they do during their 20, 30, 40 years of working? Why were they not proactive? Well, one of the reasons probably is because most people are not taught in school anything about personal finance management. Hello, Mark. How are you today?
Hey, how are you doing? Thanks for having me. I'm great.
Well, that's great. So, what do you? What is your view, Mark, on why people, when they retire, they don't have enough funds to enjoy the same lifestyle that they had while they were working, which caused a lot of people not to be able to retire until very late, even in their uh, 70s.
Well, there's a myriad of reasons for this phenomenon that's going on. You alluded to one of the major reasons that people aren't able to retire comfortably um, in their elder years, and that's the education system. I mean, I even look back in my during my early years of education. They never taught us anything about personal finance. And it does, you don't have to be a financial wizard or have a PhD in it as in economics or master's degree from Wharton's School of Business to become wealthy or become a millionaire. It's just basic personal finance principles that could be taught in middle school, high school, and not even in college. But I'll just start from elementary school. I mean, the best thing they teach you how to add. That's about the only financial or money related topic. That's about as close as they get to teaching you about money, adding and subtracting. Then you get into middle school. I mean, they'll give you all types of elective classes like home economics, which is important to learn how to cook. They'll give you gym class. They'll even give you algebra and calculus. But algebra and calculus has nothing to do with learning how to be financially savvy. Um, then you get into high school. Then again, that would be the perfect opportunity to teach kids about just simply having a checking account, managing personal bills, etc. Learning to live within a budget, but they don't even touch on that subject in high school as you becoming into your adult years. And then you get into college, even if you take courses on finance and accounting, they'll teach you how to account for corporations books and records, but nothing personally. Even in finance, they never taught us even how to invest in stocks. I had to learn that on my own. We didn't have, so really, it must be some kind of conspiracy, but I don't want to go down that lane too deeply. But obviously, the system doesn't want the average person to be financially literate. It seems as if and I don't like using the word they, but the system we're in, it's like the system needs workers to live check to check so they can keep working. It wouldn't be uh, beneficial, I suppose, for too many people to become financially free, because then where would the workers be that uh, corporations need? And the corporations and the school system, it's all tied together. It's all one system related together. Then you have the advertising. That's another major reason. The consumer society that we in is so powerful with the marketing and advertising, the subliminal messages that bombard people every day in the movies, commercials, and the music. And now it's like on steroids. Nikki Hill. Now the consumerism uh, indoctrination is on steroids with social media because it's right in your pocket. And then you had the holidays, the peer pressure, the family pressure of consuming on the holidays. And now they just make up holidays. We probably have it's 12 months out the year. It's probably a holiday. It's every month, or at least one or two holidays every month that pressures people to consume and buy things they don't need. But yeah, it's a myriad of reasons. And a lot of people only think short term. They say, thank God it's Friday. People want to, oh, they get paid on Friday. Let me just enjoy these 2 days of freedom just for an escape, and then go back to work, living check to check. 90% of people live check to check.
Well, Marcus, that's 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 probably true right there. But what can a person today, working today, what can they do, and what period, what time frame should they start to thinking about their retirement, and what should they do in order to prepare for life
Well,
after work?
as soon as possible, everyone. I know it's hard as a kid, but as soon as a person turns 18, I would prefer earlier. I would advise earlier, but as you turn 18, the only problem is retirement seems far away. It's a psychological thing. And it really has to be instilled by the parents, because most kids, when they're 18, they aren't mature enough to understand time and how fast and energy. Because when you're 18, when you're 21, 25, you feel you only been alive for like 2 decades. So you feel like you've been young your whole life. And you had ample energy and good health your whole life. So it's hard for someone in their 20s to comprehend that one day they may not feel like working, or one day they'll get tired of having a boss or going to work or driving in the commute because everything is so new to them. So it really starts with the parents and instilling into them the urgency of becoming financially free as soon as possible and getting started as soon as possible, because you won't always have the energy to go to work, or even the mental capacity to take orders for the rest of your life. I mean, that's what I say, nothing's wrong with having a job, but it's a stepping stone. It's not an end all be all. And it really has to be instilled into college age students because they don't have those ample amount of 30, 40-year careers that are guaranteed anymore anyway. I mean, we all know that AI technology and the robotics are coming, and globalism, sending jobs overseas. So jobs aren't dependable as they used to be. So it's imperative that the first dollar they make, they have to start learning to save at least half of it, 50%. A lot of financial gurus and investment books say put away 10%. No, you have to get in the mindset of sacrificing, putting away at least 40 to 50% of every dollar you make. That has to be instilled into the youth right now, immediately. But the good thing about the modern times, it's not easy, but it's easier than ever before to become financially free because of technology. Now, technology and AI has eliminated a lot of certain jobs, but there's never been more opportunity than ever before now because of technology. It's not easy still, but it's still more opportunity than ever before with the internet. I mean, and a lot of young people are realizing that. That's why you see a lot of 18-year-olds and 20-something-year-olds uh, getting into technology, starting online businesses. It's still a lot of runway. It's a lot of opportunity to go. I look at especially with e-commerce, I look at Amazon. It's not oversaturated yet. Amazon has the a lion's share of the market share right now. But I believe I read a few weeks ago, there's still only like 40, maybe 15 to 20% of all sales are online. So it's a lot of room to grow, and it's still growing. There's places in Africa and other remote areas of the world that still don't have internet yet.
Mhm.
So it may seem like all your friends and family are shopping online now, but we haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg of how big online and e-commerce is going to be. There's still a lot of opportunity, a lot of millionaires to be made.
Well, you brought up one point there, Mark, about the opportunities within the IT field, like especially with coding and different other aspects of AI, and how this is a very rewarding jobs out there that's available to people who know how to code, and coding is a technology that they use to in order to produce apps and software. I understand here just recently. Have you heard about where I believe in Chicago, where they want to bring in? I believe it's Biden administration wants they want to bring in hundreds of thousands of foreigners, minorities from other nations, countries, and relocate them to Chicago, and also the ones that's already over here. They want to give them permanent residence to keep them over here to work in the technology field. How do you feel about that when we have our own Americans in this country who needs who need training in this particular field?
Yeah, it's disappointing. Um, I can see where the IT companies are coming from their perspective. They can pay lower wages to foreigners with technical skills, and say like an IT job that would normally pay 80,000 or 100,000 a year, they can go pay someone uh from a foreign country, give them an H-1B visa, pay them maybe 35,000 a year. Um, so that, I mean, that's disappointing. And then they can have more control over that worker, because they can throw in their face that H-1B visa can be revoked if they're ever unemployed for more than a certain amount of time, and then they have to go back to their home country. And a lot of them, they have ambitions of, you know, earning a resident card and staying here, so they can be kind of abused to a certain degree more than an American worker by saying, making them work unpaid overtime, and they're just overworking them, and that's disappointing. But there's also another reason. I don't think a lot of Americans are taking advantage of the opportunities to get these technical skills. It's all about being hungry. A lot of Americans have got complacent. I mean, this is one of the this country's been prosperous economically for a long time. There's a lot of courses available for free or a very minimal amount online to get technical certifications. Uh, like Google courses on Coursera. You can get IT help desk certification. You can get a lot of computer coding certifications. You can go to a lot of these coding, instead of going to college, you can go to a lot of these coding boot camps in person or online. We have to, um, I think where we're dropping the ball in America is we have to get more of the youth trained in these fields. We have to encourage that on the grassroots level, instead of uh, falling into the hypnotization and indoctrination of social media, always telling our youth the best way to be successful is to become a professional athlete or entertainer, all of these glamorous occupations, so-called glamorous, that or becoming an athlete. I mean, or becoming a actor. We gotta stop that. These kids in these other countries, they don't dream about that. They don't care about that. So we've got to get more of our youth trained, and that's the way. And not necessarily, we got to get out of that 1980s mindset of just going to college and getting a liberal arts degree.
Well, right. I agree with you on that. Do you think that that these politicians that we've elected over the years that's up there, they in these they they look at their political positions as a job. Do you think they've dropped the ball on the educating the youth today? Isn't there more that they can do? Especially when you got the president, the office of the president, talking about getting more IT people into Chicago or various other places. I remember back in Obama years where in Michigan, the governor there, Snyder, Obama was bringing in a lot of Syrians after the United States had gone up there, over there, and blown up that country, and they were bringing a lot of Syrians into this country. And I remember the Governor Snyder of Michigan stated, "Say we can put them in Detroit, and we can teach them all IT." And I remember at the time I was thinking, well, don't we have a lot of people that live in Detroit that could be taught IT, technology? So, what do you think these politicians are when Biden comes out and his office says something like this? Why aren't we getting these politicians to respond to that and say, "Well, we got a lot of unemployment here in these inner cities. Why don't we set up some boot camps and some training for these people?" You know?
Yeah, I look at the politicians as being tethered to the corporations, and most of them have aspirations of going to work for a corporation um, at the end of their terms. A lot of them get donations for their campaigns from the corporations. So I can't really value anything they say other than, okay, they're just puppets for the corporations who want, or they're mouthpieces for the corporations who want to bring in the foreign workers as much as possible. They don't have the best interests of the American worker because American labor is a little bit is more expensive. You look at the auto companies with the NAFTA. I mean, think I won't say most, but a big amount of a large amount of auto plants are in Mexico now. You know, they could pay the Mexican workers $5 or $10 a day, something like that, and you know, and they let go of all the $100,000 a year jobs, not all, but most of them in Detroit, and replaced them with the Mexican worker outsourced it in Saltillo, Mexico.
Wow.
But I don't know how long that can last though, because the American workers are the ones who buy the corporate products. So I don't know how long they think they can keep bankrupting the American worker for the foreign workers when the American workers are the ones that keep this consumer society, this consumer based economy going. They can only max out their credit card so long. And that just comes to being loyal to the country, you know. A lot of these corporations see themselves as global entities, not necessarily just American. And I understand they've got uh, shareholder pressure. These are publicly traded companies. It's profit, profit, profit. So, but I would say this: there's so much demand for high tech skills now. They can't even bring in enough foreign workers to fill all these jobs. I mean, so if the American uh, workers get more um, involved in learning these technical skills, then it's enough work for everybody.
But well, this is what
Believe
I
it or not.
was alluded to there, Mark. Is what about these politicians in their districts? Can't they go in and put pressure on funding for high tech training of their people, their constituents? I mean, to bring the people up, the Americans up to the level where they can compete with the foreigners. Maybe not with the salary point, but at least they will. I mean, I see right now that you can go through the papers, and I've heard some people talking about how many jobs that they need right now to be filled in the IT uh, industry.
That's why I say nobody's gonna give anything to you of any value. That's what I one thing I've learned in life. The best education, you almost have to go and get it on your own. From what I've seen in every facet of society, um, learning doesn't stop after school. Like I say, there are they teaching web development, website development in an in-depth level in high school? Are they teaching data analytics? Um, are they teaching IT in an in-depth level in these high schools? I don't think so. They might have a little class here and there on computers. Even in the colleges, from what I hear, even if you go get a computer science degree, technology is evolving so rapidly that they don't even care. These IT companies don't care if you have a college degree in computer science. They want to know, do you have a certification in, say, Python or C++? If you can take this test and that you know that you certified in this coding language, you got a job. They don't even care if you have college degrees no more, because obviously these colleges aren't teaching what the skills that the corporations need. It's like you have to independently go out and seek these technical skills um, on your own, and we can't depend on politicians. You know, all we can hope for with politicians is to keep the roads paved and keep the street lights on. I mean, we can't depend on these politicians to teach our kids or the general public the skills they need for the high tech marketplace.
Well, well, that's some valuable information that you put out there for the youth. But I like to carry this further in another presentation, Marcus. I like to deal with what can the people, first of all, what can the person starting off working, what some of the investment avenues that he or she can take in planning their retirement. And then for people who are already out there working, say in their mid 30s, 40s, and even 50s, what are some of the things that they can do to try to beef up their 401ks or their IRA or whatever or if they're not doing either of that, what can they do to kind of plan some type of retirement future for themselves where they can still maintain a very decent lifestyle. So maybe we can discuss that on the next presentation. What do you think?
Okay, sounds good. I look forward to it.
All right, thanks a lot, Marcus. Mark, I really appreciate you taking the time come on here and try to help us get an understanding of the secret to prosperity. I know that you've been into this for a while, so we appreciate all the information you can impart to us. And people, thank you for listening, and I hope that you've got something out of today and be back with us, because as we go along with this series here, it's going to only get better. So have a great day, and don't forget to subscribe to the Mac Commentary. Thanks.